All right. So number two,
Yeah,
which variable do you think we should get rid of?
I would get rid of the A's.
100% yes.
Yeah.
So this is problem number two. So what we're going to do is we're going to multiply the bottom equation and the middle equation to turn them both into -8s.
Okay.
Are you good with that?
Yeah.
Okay. So the top equation is still going to be 8a. Like we're not changing the top because it's already got
Yeah.
what we want. All right. And we don't need to multiply by any negatives because they're already negatives to offset. So what do we, if we multiply the middle one by 4, what do we get?
And we had -8 minus -12b plus 20c equals -88.
And then if we multiply the bottom row by 2, what do we get?
-8 plus 16b
Yep.
minus 14c
Yep.
equals 84.
Perfect. So that's the setup, is now we got the column with the A's to be eliminatable.
Yeah.
So this, remember, is where we show, like we're going to take, so this right now is called a 3x3.
Yeah.
We're about to create a 2x2. And to do that, we eliminate the same variable twice. So job one is to tell the world what we're going to do. And we're going to take row 1 and we're going to add it to row 2. And we're going to write down the result. So what do we get when we add row 1 and row 2?
Row 1 and row 2. So the A's cancel out.
Right.
And then we get -21b plus 17c.
Perfect.
Equals -14.
Perfect again. Nice job. And then what's our other row operation?
And I'm doing R1 plus R3.
Perfect. Get.
The A's cancel out. Seven B minus 17C equals 128.
Perfect. Just FYI, I'm not trying to send you a message with problem 2 on the practice quiz. This happened and I didn't mean necessarily for it to or not to happen. But if you do number 2 correctly, when you do your first rows elimination, if you look at the purple 2x2 system, the C's auto eliminate. I am not trying to tell you that that's the way it's going to be on the quiz. Might be, might not be. But what that does is it saves us a little bit of time because now we don't have to tinker with the rows in the purple system to make one of the variables eliminate. So again, don't think that that's the way it has to be. That's just happenstance. So don't count on it. If it happens, great. If it doesn't, don't be upset. So like if those 17s up there weren't 17s, then we would have to multiply the rows, one or both of the rows, to get numbers to be the same. So again, don't take away from this that everything's identical. Like that's not true. So, but again, in this case, you see that this is good news, right?
Yeah.
Because normally we would have to do some prep work at this point in time where we'd have to make some of the numbers the same.
Like at the first.
Exactly like that. But we don't have to here. We just got lucky. And so having said that, we're ready just to auto eliminate now this little 2x2 system. And you don't need to put row operations anymore with a 2x2. It's pretty easy to figure out what people are doing. So now we're just going to add the rows together.
Yeah.
So when we add downwards, how many B's do we get?
-14.
And then of course the C's cancel. And then we're left with 84 when you add those together. And that's the goal, is to get to this point where we have a little one by one, one variable, one equation system.
Yeah.
And then, of course, you've been solving those,
Yeah.
back in Germany since you were like 13 years old. So
Yeah.
we're going to divide both sides by -14, and we're going to figure out that B is -6. Okay.
Yeah.
So what that does is that just now starts the process. So basically, um, you know, we climb the mountain,
Yeah.
and then we just go right back down. I don't think that makes any sense, but like we went from 3 to 2 to 1,
Yeah.
and now we're going to reverse it, and we're going to go from 1 into 2
Yeah.
and then back. So you see how it's just backwards?
Yeah.
Okay. So which of the purple equations do you like better?
The lower one.
The lower one is fine. So if we take the lower equation and we write it down, it's going to say 7 blank minus 17C equals 128. And I just left a blank because what are we going to put there?
B and negative.
And then we just have to do some very simple math at this point, right? That's not to say that it always goes perfect, but it should be pretty simple for us. Okay. So what is 7 times -6?
-42.
Perfect. And then how do we solve?
We add the 42. Then divide by -17, and then C equals -3.
Done. So at this point, we know the answer
Yeah.
as blank -6, -10. And then what we do is we take those two answers that we have and we put them back in. And I didn't use any of these. I went back to the original one that's on the paper.
Yeah.
And I personally liked the second, but just because the numbers are smaller. Remember how we had to multiply it by 4?
Yeah.
So I went back and used that one while the numbers were still small.
That makes sense. Yeah.
You could use any of them that you'd like, though. It's fine. Good.
Yeah.
So if we take that middle equation,
Yeah, we can take.
then we're going to write it as -2a minus 3 blank plus 5 blank equals -22. So that's our task. And then that's the end of the road. We obviously we have to put in the first blank, we have to put -6. And then in the second blank, we have to put -10. And then we solve. So this equation is our task. Solve that equation. So what would we do?
-3 times -6 equals plus 18.
Right. So we have -2a plus 18. And then what else?
And -50
Right.
equal.
And then what would we do?
Can we subtract then? You do plus 50 in one step.
You should just combine these. The answer is yes, you could, but generally what we math people want you to do is just do all the work on one side first. So just old school 18 minus 50. What do you get?
-30.
Good job. I love that you have good basic skills. So -2a and then -32 equals -22. You should always clean up each side before you start adding and subtracting things across.
Yeah.
Okay. Now what?
And plus 32.
Which gives us -2a equals.
And
Yep. And finally we divide. And what do we get?
we get a equal -5.
Done. And then you go over to your answer and plug in the final value, and that's that. Well, the only way the one on the quiz would be different, like I said, is if this system up here,
Yeah.
and this is just hypothetical, but let's say you like combined your rows together and you got a system like negative 4b plus 5c equals 10, and then like 3b minus 2c equals negative 4. Like then you'd have to multiply again to get the numbers to be the same.
But in this step, I still could choose which one I would like to, or do I have to
No.
pick the second one?
You mean which variable you want to?
Yeah.
You can kill B's or C's. That's not, no one cares about that. When you have two in a system, you can pick either one of them.
Okay.
That doesn't matter.
Okay.
And I don't think in this case, either one of them would be any easier. So like if you got rid of the B's, you could turn them both into 12s. If you got rid of the C's, you could turn them both into 10s. Like it would be easy either way.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
but that's the only way the quiz might be different is a little extra work in that step. So,
But that explanation with the note is pretty good.
oh, you like that?
Yeah. See them all
Yeah.
the way up.
And then you work all the way back. Yeah, I try to come up with things that make sense, but yeah, that's how it works.
Okay. Yeah. Perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome. No problem.